Tech Town Podcast, episode 3. Get me? This one I had to get this guy on. Special guest, creative businessman, TMV, the Mandem's voice. Chyna in the building, broski. Appreciate you coming on, man. Get me?
Thank you very much for having me on, bro.
Nah, that's love every time. I said to him, I was saying before we started recording, I needed to get him on early. He's been doing the maddest podcast circuit. Get me? He's doing this thing with his business. So I was like, yeah. I need to make sure I get him early because it's going to be peak later on down the line, man. So, bro, I appreciate it, man.
No, thank you for having me down, bro.
Nah, it's all good, man. So give us a little bit of insight as to who Chyna is, the background.
It's weird because there's different stages in my life because I'm older, but my name is Chyna. So we'll start off. Okay, so my name is Chyna. This is my drinks. These are called ISlushYou. These are frozen slush drinks. I supply loads of shops. We also do slush machines. We do events. That's something that I do. I come from Cameroon initially, but I'm British. I came here when I was quite young, about 2.5, 3. So obviously I grew up here. But my dad was a diplomat for the Cameroon embassy for most of my life. He's also the chief as well. Cameroon. He was a professor. He has 2 PhDs. He was also a lecturer at UCL London. My mother's also has a PhD. I have three sisters and 1 brother. They all married.
So 5 of you all together?
There's 5 of us all together.
Yeah.
We was the first generation that came over to this country. I've had a creative background because it's hard for me to try to concise everything all together. What you see me now is not necessarily what I've done over the years or what people have known me for. I'm involved in media. I've done music before. I've worked a lot in the security industry background, events background, which sparked off some of my creativity and some of the things that you see now. It's just a lot to kind of put all into one. But if you speak to me, I could probably get it to you. But I'm just, I'm kind of an open book. I'm someone that I've been on a journey. And I think where I am now on podcasting is I have a lot of knowledge. And I could pretty much speak on anything.
Yeah.
It's weird because I don't ever ask what I'm going to be spoken. Like I can pretty much speak on anything, and with an experienced head on it, and yeah. So I don't know. Like it's hard when people say but right now what I'm doing. I am the Mandem's voice. I've got, like you said, I've been going on lots of podcasts, doing a podcast circuit. It wasn't something I intended to do. I was inspired after working on a film set for about a year. I became really good friends with the ADs, the grips, the sparks, the video playback. I ended up being trained as an AD, ended up doing different parts on the set. And then that kind of inspired me to kind of go further.
That's dope, man. Yeah. I was actually going to ask you about your family, actually.
Yeah, go on.
How much of it, like, in terms of like the support, like going into the creative side, how supportive were they in terms of you guys?
Like, I'll be honest, my mum and dad are really supportive because they have kids that are, that are barristers, they have kids that are doctors, you know what I'm saying? They have basically everything that they have a kid for everything, basically. So I don't think one thing my dad's always told me, whatever you do, mum's always told me just do it well. And I think I'm just a creative person, and I probably haven't realized what I'm supposed to see. You when you get exposed to different things, you start to discover different things. And like I started off on a very creative route, like I said, Susie Earnshaw and stuff. But at some point, I diverted from that for any reasons, and then I probably lost a little bit of what I should have probably been doing.
Well, was there a reason behind that? So you started on the creative side, then you went more to like events and security, and then you went back to creative.
Yeah.
So what was the cause behind it?
It's like, oh man, like, I went through that road stage.
Yeah.
You know what it is? Because some people like to speak about it. It makes them think like, but I tend not to really speak about it.
No, 100%.
I tend not to speak about it because I don't want to glorify it.
No, definitely.
You know what I mean?
Definitely.
But if you know me, if you know from you know, innit?
Yeah.
So, and it's one of those ones. It's one of like a lot of people come on platforms and they want to say exactly what they did, and they want everyone. I think if you can get through and people don't necessarily know, I don't think you should focus on that. Because there
100%.
seems to be something, I don't know, when it comes to the brothers as well, it's always got to be, I had to be doing something bad and then I changed my life. Like, I'll be like, how about we just change our lives? Or we just said we was going to do something.
That's a good point.
But, I can't. So one of the things that I would say is that at a pivotal point in my life, my dad, he stopped being a diplomat, and then he went and took a different position back in Africa, and it was one of the big universities. Now, one of the things I've spoken about was single mothers and that, and I've said that when you take a father out of the home, especially at a pivotal point of teenage years, it affects young men. And what can happen is, when a woman raises up a son, they mean all the best by them, and they do the best by them, but a lot of times they can over feminize the boy. And I've said, the problem of over feminizing boys is a lot of times they become too emotional. And when you have a teenage boy struggling with adolescence, trying to get into that transition period, when he's very emotional and he's got a lot of testosterone and he reacts emotionally, this is how when the young guys can do something on the street, stab someone, attack someone, and they don't think because they act in a split second.
Yeah.
So I think at that pivotal point where my dad went over, now my mum's having to obviously deal with a teenage son, and she's working very, very hard. And now I'm getting influenced by outside things. And it doesn't matter where you come from, how good your home is, or whatever it is. If your father is not at home, and my dad, listen, my mom used to shout at me and do whatever, but my dad doesn't never have to shout at me, just has to be there, and I just automatically respect him. And it's a weird thing.
I get what you mean. I get what you mean.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I didn't come from because I came from a single mother household, but I do understand, like, I've seen it from a distance with my auntie. She has, like, what's the term? Is it nuclear family?
Nuclear family. Yeah.
So I got to see it, and I got to see what that looked like when I was around him. Like, there were certain things that he would say, and I'd just be like, he didn't even have to raise his voice with me. Did you get it? So I get what you're saying.
Yeah, my dad's never hit me in his life. My mum's tanned me my whole life, and I was still being naughty. And after a while, she realized that actually hitting him don't work. This is when she messed up, when she started trying to talk to me. Oh my God. That was like, she tried a different approach. That was worse, just like hit me.
Yeah.
She grounded me and grounded me. I was like, what? When she learned about, I was like, what do you mean I can't go out? That was like that was different ones, because when you're young, your mum will hit you. It actually strengthens you before you go out to school. By the time I got into school fights, no one could touch me.
Yeah.
Bruv. Like, you think and people can talk about discipline and how, but what's funny? My mum's a grandma now, yeah. You think she would ever let any one of her kids hit their kids? She'll be the first. Don't. I'm like, Mum, the things you used to do for us, now for the grandkids, you just let them get. It's we got violated.
Yeah, it's different, man. It's different. It's different. You also spoke about, I remember watching one of your other interviews, and you talked about the impacts that your big sister had, right? So correct me if I'm wrong, it goes, you're like the second youngest.
Yes,
right?
yeah.
So sister, brother, sister, you, and then
sister,
correct me.
Sister, brother, sister, me. Yeah, sorry, and then one more sister. Yeah.
Okay, so in terms of the impacts your older siblings had, what was the impact that they had in your life?
So my older sister, she, like, she was the firstborn, and like, I would say she had the best of everything. She went to private school. She was a ball girl at Wimbledon. She was friends with the Sultan Brunei's kids. Like, she had the best of everything. She studied in France and learned extra languages. Went to the best sixth form college, and then in the end, she married a Cameroonian man. He works for the UN. He's very high in the position. They have an amazing life. They're expats and ambassadors for the UN. And and obviously she's gonna follow the path that you would want. And but growing up, she was very, like, I didn't really get on with her. I used to call her 2 cents, because she would always come and put her 2 cents in. And she was very, she spoke Latin. She was very prim and proper. She had that upbringing, right? And then after that came my brother. Growing up, me and my brother was quite close, but I've been always close with my sisters. And then it was my next sister, and me and her was like that, because she was the one above me. Yeah. And so when I started going to school, she would take me to school. She's the one that taught me a lot about women. Okay. I used to hang around with them all the time. She would take me, like, when she was going out to, like, to house parties at school, she would bring her little brother along. She was that girl who was always bringing me along. And then I had my junior sister Lisa, who I've always speak about, who for me is a shining example of what I would want my daughter to be like. And you know what I mean? Because she's she listened, and all of my siblings are married with child,
Mm-hmm.
and I always think that's a real accomplishment for a father. You know, when you can do all of that, and it also says what it says that you raise your daughters as wives, and you also raise your sons to be husbands for someone else's
Agreed.
daughter, and wives to be for someone else's husband.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas a lot of times, with now people don't see the importance of that, or they try to play it down.
Yeah.
But I think, it's testimony of a good father if everyone sees your daughters as wives
Mm-hmm.
and not baby moms or whatever it is.
Yeah. Because that's something that you speak about a lot when I watch your content. The importance of, the nuclear family, marriage and stuff. But since we're on it now, with the whole marriage thing, I do understand why men are a bit hesitant when it comes to marriage. Because you're a big believer in the nuclear family, but do you understand why they're hesitant to get married?
100%. Like I do, man. It's very it's very risky for men. It's like, it really doesn't. It doesn't really play in men's favor.
It doesn't.
It doesn't play in men's favor. It plays in women's favor in everything to do with marriage. Especially now, and it's going to play in their favor even more with the way the world's going.
Exactly, 100%.
But why do men still want it? So you could look at it. If you look at it in a way of in a spiritual way, I want to be married to my wife. You might look at it religious. You know what I mean? That's one aspect of it. And some people grown up in it. Some people believe that it's just the best. It's just best way. I've grown up in my parents are still married now, and I've gone with friends who haven't been, that have been married. I don't think it's ideal for everybody. I think it's an ideal that everyone should be able to have. Like, I don't think a woman, no matter, I might say a lot of stuff, but I don't think because a woman's a certain size she can't get married. No, that's not. I don't. But I would believe that she needs to be realistic about her options of marriage. See, and that's the difference. What people say. Of course, there's lots of people that are married. People match people all the time. But what I do say is women are incentivized to break up their homes. That women are incentivized by the government. They've created things with non-fault divorce. Just so now you can just break up. So it's like for a lot of men lose a lot in marriage, and it becomes very risky. And the suicide rates for men, oh mate, are super high when it comes to this. So it's just like, but at the same time, most men want to be married.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I want to get married.
And
I want to have kids after. Do you get it?
Yeah. Like, and that's another reason why I haven't had children yet, because I just can't. I can't do this baby mama thing. I just really can't. Yeah. I just can't. And my worst nightmare for me is having a baby with a woman and I don't have access to that child. I become a weekend dad or something. Do you know what I mean?
No, bro, I get you.
And that's for me. That's what it is. Like, it's not that. Like, and for single mothers as well. I want them to be realistic about their options. And a man telling you to be realistic or speaking to you in a way that men haven't spoken to you doesn't mean that I'm saying to you you can't win. But you have to be realistic. And we live in a world where society has told you can have whatever you want. There's no consequences for everything. Yeah, everything's instant gratification. But I'm sorry, there's choices and trade-offs. And depending on the choices that you make, there might be some trade-offs you need to make. And if you don't understand that, what's going to happen is you're going to end up becoming quite bitter. And you become like all the women that come into my comments and to talk all... But I could just... Every time I go on my phone, there's beep and there's a woman that's been upset about something. About something, And why are you getting upset about a man's opinion you don't know?
It's true.
Just scroll past.
100%.
Block you if anything.
No, definitely. 100%, man. But no, I really love your stance and your takes on that. I want to segue a bit because I want to get to know Chyna a bit more.
Go on,
so,
bro.
With you, where does the name Chyna originate from?
Okay, so it's my middle name is Ajongapa, and it's a chief's name, and then it's just translated to China. So when I was younger, everyone was like Chyna. And then that was it. Then I'll be like, my name's Ken as well. Like, first name. He'll be like, nah, I like Chyna.
Yeah.
So then it just, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's it, really. Yeah.
Okay. And you used to do music as well, right?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
So that was MC Chyna.
Yeah, MC Chyna.
Okay.
Yeah.
So And that came, was that all around the same time, like, you know, you was doing Upbringing, sure, you know?
That came after.
After, okay.
Yeah, like, and I think because it didn't become cool. Like, and I said I went to school with I went to Sujan with Don Midge, J Midge, Lions and Midge. Yeah, shout out to Midge, my guy.
Shout out to Midge.
Yeah. So I'll be honest with you. Nowadays it's cool to do stuff.
Yeah.
Dance, act. But when we was school, it was like you couldn't do anything.
Different time, because when I think about it, there's a bit of a gap between you and I. So when I was coming up, it was cool.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But for you it was different. So I can only imagine what
you couldn't like being creative and doing everything. It was just I used to get picked up. I remember we get picked up from school and go to Nickelodeon and do fun stuff. Like, and it was just. And then obviously around that time, MCing becoming like, you know what I mean, the music scene and stuff. And it was like, you had, sometimes, I remember my dad said, what did he say? You don't want to be a jack of all trades and a master of none. And I think sometimes when you're multi-talented and you got lots of options, you can just, whatever, but sometimes you're not supposed to stop something. You're supposed to carry on. And it can be a lot, but, you know, and then, it really just come down to outside influences at that point. Like, it wasn't cool anymore to do it. And the things that were cool to do were the other stuff that started coming in. And this is what I'm trying to say. At a pivotal point, guidance is always needed. Because my parents I had a really good upbringing. I grew up in a 7-bedroom home. I didn't, you know, like, there was a lot of, things changed a little bit when my dad changed his position. Yeah. And my mom didn't want him to go higher, like, because of stress and all other things. She was like, no, go take a different position. And things slightly changed at that point. But up to that point, I had a really good upbringing. And I don't.
By the way, I just want to say I love to hear it, by the way. This is amazing to me. Just hearing, do you know what I mean? Because I've been around, like, a lot of my friends, they have mum, dad, like, they have that. Do you know what I'm saying? But just, it's always nice to hear. Do you know what I'm saying?
No, I didn't even realize, like, because someone said to me, you know, you're privileged, innit? And I was like, I don't know, but when I look at how my friends have grown up, and I think to myself, damn, I was really privileged. You know like, anytime in school there was a school trip or anything, there was never no question about it. Like, I remember I used to be onto my mum about trainers and stuff. My mum was like, you see all your trainers, those things you think, but the things that I get for you, your friend's mum can never do. Like, and when I look back, she's right. They might have had nice trainers or certain things at school, but when it comes to the school trip, they were doing bike in Alexandra Palace. Yeah. Man was in Germany. Man was in Dorset doing some, you know what I mean? Because my mum always made sure the fact that I could, you know, I was, when I was young, I was part of the British National Opera.
Oh yeah. I heard about that.
But I even forget. I forget because of everything, everything that's come from that. I forget. You know, I went to British Academy of New Music. That's where actually my college, and it's like, I just think partly because the bit of it I don't speak about that, you know, and
a lot has happened in between.
Yeah, right? A lot has happened. You know, I don't mind saying I got stabbed before. I don't know if you saw it on any clips. So you know, I got our life support machine almost died. Shout out to North Middlesex Hospital. When I blow, I got you guys.
Yes.
No, because it was real, man. It was real. So I think that's why, like, a lot of times I can look at things from a multi
different perspectives.
Yeah, different perspectives. Different perspectives. And I think that's what living a life and experiencing things can tell you. Same thing with women. I've like I said, I've never left a woman, you know. Never left a woman. Never left a woman. Yeah. So when we speak to women and we talk about women leaving 80% of the time, it tends to be true. When you ask the woman, you know, women leave for all manner of reasons. I'm not saying that women haven't tried to come back. I'm not saying that women haven't tried to come back. I'm not saying that women have to try to come back, because they definitely tried to come back. But I'm just saying it's women leave for all manner of reasons. But what I try to do is I try to teach younger men about purpose and about what they should be doing, and about not worrying and not trying to rush the process, because a lot of things that you think that are important now are not important. They're not going to worry about them later. I try to tell younger women as well to think about their futures, think about their body, have respect for themselves and their bodies, because, you know, if you really are the prize, then what type of prize everyone can get or have their hands on. And ultimately, it doesn't mean that I'm trying to stop women. I believe, I've said it before and I'll say it again on your platform, I believe a woman has the right to wear what she wants. I believe a woman has the right to go where she wants. I believe a woman can sleep with who she wants consensually. I believe a woman has autonomy and sovereignty over her body. But along with those rights, I also believe a man has rights too. And those rights mean I don't have to accept a woman that's gone and done that. But that's where the problem starts to happen. Women start to be like, oh, but. So you can sleep with 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 people you want. I don't care what you do. But if you want to be my woman and I find, yeah, you're going to have a problem now. Am I shaming you? No. That's just a standard and a preference that I have. Yeah. And true equality means that you can do that. Mm-hmm. You can do that. And I won't judge you for it. Mm-hmm. But true equality means that I also have an... And you know what I'm saying?
No, I get it. I completely agree.
And yeah.
I completely agree. Because I think what it is that I think with a lot of women, I'm not saying all, but with a lot of them, they want to do the actions without the consequences. You
know, even when we say... You don't even have to say a lot of women. I'll be like, you know, with women. But the problem is, women can't take away the fact that we're never speaking about all.
Yeah, we're not saying all. Yeah,
we don't speak in absolutes. Mm-hmm. We generalize a consensus, and that's how the world works, exactly. Right? But when you speak to a lot of these women, and I'll say a lot of these women, but when you speak to women, not all women, a lot of women,
yeah,
it's always about all. But not all men think like.
Yeah.
Do you think I think I'm representing all men? Of course not.
Of course not. Yeah.
But there's enough men that think like this.
Agreed.
That people need to speak about it. Not all. That's fine. A lot of simps out there.
Nah, real talk. Like, because it's like you brought up a good point when you're talking about the fact that, you know, you can do what you want. You can do as you please. You can sleep with as many people you want. You can wear what you want. But at the same time, I don't have to accept it. Like, it's like, as men, we understand consequences, right? We understand, listen, it'd be foolish for me to say if I rob a bank, in all likelihood, I'm going to go to jail, right? But it'd be delusional of me to lean on the fact that there is a small chance I might get away with it. So when I get arrested, I can't cry, woe is me, when I knew there was a high percentage chance of me going to jail, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So a lot of them want the actions without the consequence. They want to run up their body count and still want a guy to accept them for who she... But you have to understand, most men don't want that. Do you get what I'm saying?
And then you get a bunch of men that will say, if you don't, so they lead with, if you care, then you're insecure. That's the first thing.
Yeah.
There's so many ways that I can speak about the body count scenario, so I can attack it like a few ways. Yeah. So what I'll say is, right, women will say body count doesn't matter. Ask her what a body count is. All you hear is crickets. Or do the other one. If you want to know, to say to be like, how many bodies before you're whole?
Mm-hmm. It's true.
How many bodies before? Like, how many bodies? And then women start thinking.
Yeah.
And if body count didn't matter, why would you lie? If body count does not matter, why do they lie?
It's true.
Why do they lie? Mm-hmm. If it doesn't matter, you don't need to lie, right?
Exactly.
See, what they'll say all types of things. They'll be like, because so, or they'll say, no man has ever asked me my body count. I'll be like, okay, where are they now?
It's true.
Why would you ask a girl's body count that you didn't care about? If you don't have good intention for a long term, why would I ask?
More times you're just trying to smack like.
So you're not gonna ask because you're gonna run it up and pass it to the next guy. Yeah. So you're never gonna ask. So when they say that to me, it's kind of you just reinforce what I'm talking about. No man has ever asked, where are they now? They just use your body.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it's true. No,
so
definitely.
When it comes out to the final man, he might have something to say. He might be like, okay, cool. And then now you want to be like, da. But what you need to do is, I've said it before, you need to make us feel like Kanye West. Because when Kanye West married Kim Kardashian, he knew exactly what he was getting. All warts and all, yeah? So now he can't be crying about, Kim. Listen, we're like, bro, why are you crying for Kanye?
Yeah.
A lot of other stuff I can back him on. On this one, I can't back you because you knew what you was doing when you went there. And it's ended the way everyone said it doesn't matter if it's 5, 10, 15. These women are gonna go back to the streets. They have a like, some women are like that. No matter what you're doing, they're gonna go back. Look, Russell Wilson's experiencing that now with Ciara. You can't. That's what happens.
That's a good example.
That's what happens.
Yeah.
You try to clean her up after Future, try to put bare kids in her, what's she doing now? She's back out there acting like she's single.
It's true.
Making a song about. Have you heard about her song?
Yeah.
How she like and she had a backlash from it. Because women are like, no, Ciara.
Yeah.
How you out here making a song about single women when you're your whole baby mama, Russell Simp Wilson has come and married you. Yeah. He's taken upon Future's kid. Who wants to do that?
Yeah.
Giving your further kids. He's cleaned you up, made you respectable. Now you're out twerking again. Now you're making a song about women. Go get your bag. You're a single woman. You don't need no man. Hold on a second. Women want your life. Women are tired of waking up and having to do a lot of the things they do, and they got you, who's got the perfect lives. They do it all the time. Beyonce selling this
Single ladies.
But Jay-Z's cheating and she's keeping him, right?
Yeah. Irreplaceable.
Cardi B's the worst.
It's true.
There was a video of her mopping up and kitchen sweeping
But
in the
she's so much
kitchen.
you don't cook it there. It's true.
What are you up?
It's true. It's actually true, you know.
Offset went on a world tour of cheating and she took him back. These women will sell you the dream. They'll sell it to you. They'll package it to you.
Con artists. They're con artists. That's true.
Women need to listen to me. I'm your friend. I don't care.
Bro, you spit game though. Like, get me. You're saying it how, like, and there's a lot of like truth to what you're saying, bro. Like, do you know what I mean? That's why a lot of time when you're speaking, I'm like, yeah, like, get me. And I found out about you on because obviously I knew about the slush. Talk to me a little about the slush business. Actually, let's get into that. Let's get into that.
ISlushYou, frozen slush drink. We do frozen bottles. We have all 27 flavors, 10 or 12 currently in the shop.
When did that start, by the way?
Had the idea in 2015, and then it just started off with us like, doing slush machines.
Sick.
And
Congratulations on that, by the way.
And then it went through a few transitions. Then I had the pandemic, which wasn't too good. And then now it's just kind of like just trying to get back things, just kicking. And yeah, it should be good this summer. Like, it gets really busy in summer. And it kind of quiets down towards winter, obviously, but it doesn't disappear. But what I've discovered now is I've got new things going on. Like, someone's about to kick off, I'm getting busy again, and then I've got all these...
all these other things going on.
So yeah,
Madness,
I'll be honest with you, bro, like, I'm at that stick and twist moment in my life where it's like, a lot of things haven't done reach my just because of me or because I've had the wrong people around me. I choose to whoever I put around myself, but I've had the wrong energies around me and I haven't been around the right people for me to do. I'm a creative person. Like I am, wherever you put me, I'll be successful, and I'll use the same tools that everyone else has got. So if you put me in the whatever, then I'll use the same tools that the Mandem I've got to be successful within that. But ultimately, deep down, I know that I'm better than that, or I got more to offer than that. So me creating a drink and branding, and that is me trying to show you my creativity and trying to get into shops. And that is me showing you how creative I am. But I'm also more than that too. You know what I'm trying to say to you? I'm not just that. Like, just like I wouldn't just be, if I'm getting into music, whatever, and I might think that's what I am, but I'm not just that. I'm creative, and by doing what I'm doing, all these extension things, it's making me realize that you're just supposed to be doing. I'm currently writing a play at the moment.
Sick. Okay.
It's almost done. I hope to put it on at some point this year, but we'll see how it goes.
Okay.
And it's based on. It's loosely based on a true story. It's going to be a one-man show, and essentially talks about being accused of something you haven't been done, the process of what happens when, the police and people lie on you, and it takes you through a journey. So but that's only calm because I came off the film set, and then I met script writers, and they made me comfortable about me telling my story, showed me how to write some stuff. I met some really good people in the theatre industry from the security background, and then they've all come in and said, oh my gosh, like, we see what you're doing, let's get together. And that's what I was trying to say, like, a lot of things that I've seen has only been because I worked in environments where they opened me to seeing things, and I need to see things. Like, I'm someone that needs to see, because once I see things, I'm like, oh my God, I can do that. Or I didn't know when I worked on the film set, a lot of jobs existed I didn't even know existed. And it's like, there's a lot of nepotism in it. They talk about it's very close community. It's like Illuminati. It's very hard to get in because because everyone's so close knit. But essentially, I saw things that I was like, okay, I can do that. But I don't look at things like, I'll look at something and be like, right, okay, I can learn. I can go do that. I can go do it different. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I just and this is why I wanted to come to your podcast, because I saw you were starting out. I saw you been on Auntie Jenny's show. I saw you was putting effort, and I was like,
I appreciate it, man.
My thing is, it was never about subscribers. It's not about subscribers of people. It's not about how big you are. It's never been about that. Because I suppose on some level people could say the same thing to me. You know what I mean? And you know what I mean? Like, I get it. On some level, someone could say the same thing to me. But when I went on everyone's podcast before I hit my 1,000 subscribers, it was because I wanted to know that people wanted this. This is not narcissistic. This is not about me thinking that I'm great. I didn't even know when I went on Pearl's platform that it was going to go viral. She's got a clip with me with like 10 million views and that. I did. Yeah, shout out to Pearl.
Shout out Pearl as well, man.
Shout out Pearl. We'll talk about it after. Shout out to
Yeah.
Pearl. But yeah, I didn't know that was going to happen. I went on Pearl's show good 4 times before I even did a YouTube channel or something. And it was like, where's your YouTube channel? I'm like, what? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I didn't really... Then I was like, well, if you guys get me to 1,000 subscribers before I do anything, then I'll shoot a podcast.
Yeah.
And I'll start the Mandem's Voice, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it was never supposed to be a thing where I just didn't expect any of this.
Yeah. Nah, bro, like, with the whole... So when you did the whole Pearly Things podcast, shout out to Pearl again, you didn't anticipate any of this.
No, bro.
Like, you didn't, like... Because she has a big platform, but in terms of your clip, your one, like... That was the one I noticed off the bat. Like, get me? And I watched the full episode. So was that the Hostile Environments one, or am I thinking of a different one?
Bro, that was a wild show.
We're gonna speak about it, and you bring up a good...
Yeah, that was the Hostile Environment show.
Yeah, I remember that. And you bring up a very good point as well, because I think you're a prime example of someone who, in terms of trust in the process, you spoke about that a little bit before, as a man especially, like, it's not going to happen all at once. I think we live in a world where we've been spoiled by Amazon next day delivery. We all expect things to come instantly, but understanding that it's a process. I think you're a prime example of that. But you've also shown that anything you put your mind to, you're gonna thrive in it. So, bro, that's one of the reasons I was like, I need to get Chyna on, man. Fam, it's love every time, man, for real. So when it came to the Mandem's Voice, where did the name come from? But also, who were some of your influences? I know it's a bit of a loaded question.
Yeah.
Who were some of your influences in the space?
So I've never watched any Red Pill content ever. Apparently I'm Red Pill, I'm not Red Pill.
Yeah.
But they just say I call myself African Pill because that's what I am. I just it's how I was raised and what I've seen from my father, what I've seen from my sisters. That's what they rep. You know what I mean? So I consider my sister to be all good women. And if you had the attributes of any one of my sisters, I'll consider you to be a good woman. I consider my dad to be, you know, a good man. I've seen what he's done for myself, for his children, but not just that. Like, my dad, if you said to me that was my dad a millionaire, I would have told you no. But my dad was a millionaire and spent millions in Africa. That's what his legacy is. My dad, he's built roads, he's built schools, through his job being a diplomat, he could bring over pretty much anyone, you know what I mean? Over, and he's put them all in education. When we had a 7-bedroom home, we had a whole layer with just students and people that nothing wanted. My dad didn't want nothing. Like, and that's one thing I always say, like, you know, my dad, he's in his 70s now, and he's had, he had recovered from cancer and stuff, but I just think to myself, when you're blessed, when because some of my cousins and that, or some of the family people, Cameroon had an embassy back in the day, and not embassy, they had an airlines, and they had a lot of logistic things that were good in the early 90s and that. But you know how people love to chop money. Some people are still rich now off that, innit? But maybe some people weren't blessed with the health my dad's had. Yeah, maybe some people weren't blessed with your kid's gonna go do so. My dad, it's never been about money. My dad's always been at education. Like I said, he's got 2 PhDs. Like my dad's got the
two PhDs.
Yeah, in linguistics as well. And like my dad's, like, when it comes down to he's got the biggest libraries I've ever seen. When we grew up, we had, you know what it is to have the Britannia, the whole collection. My dad had him all, like, he had everything. And what he taught me was education. So if I ever start chasing money, just know that was not his influence. That was not the way I was raised. Yeah. Like, because, my dad was a high figure earner because he was a diplomat, you know what I mean? Yeah. And the job that he did. But a lot of things that I would have chased that came at that pivotal point. Remember I said to you, what I mean? Yeah. And it doesn't matter if so a lot of good women will say, oh, you know what, I'm not a single mother because I'm not with my husband, but he co-parents and does that. If the father is not in the home and does not wake up every single day, trust me, you're going to get the same effect. My dad was my dad, but he just wasn't in the house. Yeah. You can't instill the masculinity and the you can't do that from a foreign country or from another house. You can't do that on the weekends. It's impossible because you have 5 days outside influence, and then 2 days to influence your child. You think you got 1 day to influence your child, and if you can only see your child on the weekend, you think you're gonna be disciplining them. Because then
That's true. Yeah.
no, you're
I
gonna
get what you mean.
you're gonna be spoiling them.
Yeah.
Because you haven't got time to discipline them. Because what's it gonna be? Oh, I don't see my child for I see my child every other weekend, and I'm gonna start complaining. Nah, you're gonna actually do that thing where parents are competing to be the best. You know what I mean? The coolest, right? That doesn't help the child.
Nah, I get you, man. 100%. And I couldn't believe it when I watched one of the interviews. I didn't know you was from North London. You went to BD. I went
Douglas.
CCF.
Huh?
I went CCF. Christ College.
Oh, Christ College, man.
Literally, yeah. I was CCF, man. So there was always that kind of like friendly, like rivalry sort of between the two schools.
Come on.
But you also spent time in Finchley. So there's a lot of similarities here. Other than like the family stuff, there's a lot of similarities because I'm from North, but I lived a little bit in Northwest, Mill Hill, that area. You lived in the same...
Yeah,
same-ish. So what, it was Finchley, Golders Green?
No, it was Golders Green.
Golders Green, oh.
It was Golders Green. It was Golders Green. Then it was Golders Green. That was Cricklewood.
Oh, you lived in Cricklewood as well?
Yeah. I lived in Cricklewood. Because I went to Charles Hill Primary School at that stage. It's weird. It's mad. Yeah, so yes. Then it was Edgware. Yeah, then it was Edgware. Edgware, and then after Edgware,
okay,
that's when it came to Enfield, and I grew up, and that's. But I did my up until about year 9, so that's still kind of late to leave to a different end. So up until about year 9, I was that side in Edgware, and then finally I came to Enfield.
So you came to the other side, okay,
and then that's so it's mad because I had the whole experience of being Northwest. It's like the other side, and all of a sudden just going over to North.
Yeah,
but I still. So people originally knew me from Northwest. You might have some from North Wheezy, but then I grew up and then, if you want to say, made the later part of my name in North. But the early part was Northwest.
Was Northwest, madness, okay.
Yeah.
And you also went to Canada Villa as well.
Yeah, cool.
That's something, back in the day. Like I didn't know it was a thing even when you was growing up.
Yeah. Come on, Canada. We used to go. We used to spit there, man. Like there was a lot of people. Man, like, because I'm saying I come from that generation, like, obviously, like, shout out to, like, because with Flirt D and that, SOK, because I remember Mango, he's a road deep, he left there, but Mango used to be there. He used to be, man, I still kind of remember before it went crazy, before it became dangerous. Like, I remember when it was fun.
Yeah.
Like, and then all of a sudden the crew stuff started getting dangerous. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I remember when it was fun and everyone loved everybody and everyone was all friends.
Yeah.
And then it just...
What do you know what was the cause in the change? Like what?
I think everybody wanted their crew to be the best, really, but some people were actually putting in work, like real work. Yeah, and then that's what happened, and then girls, and then that's what it was. Really, it was just about competition. Really, it was just about competition between people, but it wasn't really nothing because most of the people everyone actually that I think I had problems with back in the day was super cool. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Most of the people, it's nothing now. It didn't mean anything. It's just when you're younger, if everything seems so important. Like everyone's, you can never be cool with that person. But a lot of the times, I'll be real. It's like, I remember like we used to have like, I was in Twister Soul and SOK. We used to have like some friendly rivalry. But I grew up with Adam B, Van Damage and Flirt D. I used to stay at the house. Like those are my boys. Like, do you get me? And now, if you ask me, but he's one of my favorite MCs when I go outside and I want to hear something. You know what I'm trying to say to you?
Yeah.
But growing up then, I could have never been like, oh yeah, like, you know what I mean? But when I step away from something and I look back and I'm just like, man, but you contributed so much to this thing. Yeah. You don't even know what you've done. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then maybe you have to start giving some people their flowers that you know, and maybe they haven't had the recognition or they didn't know whatever, but I remember what you did. You know what I mean? I remember, 100%. I saw what you did, you know what I mean? And I think that's one part, like, I was just before, you know, the real explosion of like, obviously like YouTube and everything. And I'll be honest, like, music, you make money now from it, but when it was like, there wasn't that much money in it. And it was like, you could only one person come through at a time. It was like 1 year, they'll pick one person, that was it. Yeah. And then, but now it's different, right? But I just like the fact that we were outside. Like, you know, I remember some of the things we had to do in order to just get on, and it would just beautiful be doing things with your brethren growing up. You know what I mean? And just the belief in something can happen. And like, it was when one of my boys he went jail for a mad thing, and then it was like, like it starts becoming real.
Yeah.
And then also as well, the road, like I said, the road life, we had a lot of older people that would like gave us bad advice. That would be like, why are you doing this music thing? Forget that. Come and do this. Like, you know what I mean? And you know, I suppose at some level they thought they were trying to guide man, because it wasn't, you know. But then let me give you a joke. Not even a joke, but so my manager that we had at the time, because we had a deal, we had a 2 single deal, and then like after the deal, like we had a manager, and then he was also a really big music accountant, and it was massive, innit? And then he was trying to effectively he was trying to make us like a boy band, and I was just like, I won't really feel it, but he wasn't. He was just trying to get us onto the next level. So then after I got stabbed, it was mad, because after I got stabbed, it was kind of like I believed in everything that he said, and then he sat there with my mum, and then it was like after I got stabbed, he kind of didn't want anything to do with me. Yeah. So then I was kind of mad, because I was like, first of all, I was mad for getting stabbed. First of all, because how these man gonna stab? Like what? Like trust me, I was in a different space that time. I was looking, and then the person that you believed in and promised you all these things, then next time just basically turn their back on you. And for a long time, I struggled with it. You get me? And then it made me obviously go down a different path as well, because I was like, F this thing, like it don't really mean that, innit? And then it's mad because it's like, so I was watching the mobiles one time, and N-Dubs were picking up a couple of mobiles and that, and then as soon as they did them, they were like, oh yeah, I want to give a shout out to da-da-da. I was like, what? Bro, the camera turned round. Who do you think I saw? My old manager, and on the table with them, with his son, who was in my group, who was like our DJ, our producer, and they were all sat there. And then I was like, what? So I picked up the phone, I called one of my guys, I was like, bro, did you see? He was like, yeah. He was like, yeah, I didn't know. Like, he was like, yeah, man. After us, he went and he took N-Dub. So then he was like, you see what we're trying to do? Do you get me?
I hear it. I get it. No, man. Oh my goodness.
You know what I mean? And obviously, so it's like, I think there's all different parts of stages of this thing of what I've done, and like, I could talk about forever, but I just think creativity, I've always had it. Like talented, I've always had it. Business mind, I've always had it. Because all of these things that involved us getting a deal, involved us doing certain things, I was instrumental in doing it. I built websites. I organised my own launch nights. There's a lot of things that I did prior to a lot of things that I've done for myself. And like, I'll be honest with you, like I like music, I'm a fan of music, but I'm not, like, you can't do something that you're not willing to be as competitive as someone else, because you'll never be as successful as someone else. So you can like it, you can want it, but do you really want it? And if you don't really want it, how can I be better than someone else that really wants it? Yeah. Like, if you've bought jewelry, if you've bought cars, if you have something nice already, how are you gonna write a hit better than someone that's never had that? That's all like how are you gonna do that if you? And this is what happens with a lot of mandem that make money outside of music. Sometimes it's like, okay, cool, you might have all these things, but you haven't got a better song than that other guy. You might have the P's, like, you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah,
a lot of people come out and they got it all, but they don't have the banging track. You spend all that time on the other stuff, but this guy never had that. So what did he do? He went and made a song that's gonna get him that. Versus you did things to have that, to look like you got it, but if you don't make it for music, then it doesn't mean nothing. That's true. Because it becomes a thing where, like, there's a lot of men that have slapped money into music and it doesn't make nothing back. And yeah, you can be creative and you can choose to do something out for creative person. That's purposely fine. That's nothing wrong with that. But if you're trying to do this thing, then in reality, you have to, at some point, you need to start making money from it, because if not, it becomes a pit. And you just end up just hemorrhaging money, because it costs money to put out a release, costs money to do so. So if you can't just be doing it for narcissistic purposes, man. You have, that's why a lot of people start off good and then they die out, because it costs money to do these things.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's true. Very, very true.
But it costs money to do these podcasts.
Yeah, for
God
real.
damn it!
I'm learning
What are you talking about?
I'm learning that.
Yeah. Now I know why all these. I'll be like, I was enjoying that podcast. What happened when it go? I'm like, man, they run out the budget.
Yeah.
They blew the budget.
Literally, man. I'm learning that now, man. Literally. So, in terms of the podcast space, you found yourself on going back to the Just Pearly Things one.
Sorry, I'm taking.
No. That was.
Bro, you know what it is? I'm good at that. Everyone always tell me I'm always taking them off their task. Get
Nah,
back on task.
I love it, man. So, was that in terms? You said we spoke about how that happened by accident, but was that always what you wanted to do though, in terms of getting into that space?
No, because shout out to my boy G-Shock Headley. He put me forward.
So that was gonna ask how did the recruiting process happen in terms of you getting on?
They have a recruiter anyway, but he's been watching. I've seen Just Pearly Things anyway, but I didn't take it. I watched Kevin Samuels. You might have tell for some of the things that I said. People like to say, "R.I.P. the Godfather," but that's who I watched. I've never watched Andrew Tate. They like to make the Andrew Tate comparisons, but I'll be like, you can't compare me to Andrew Tate because I don't have Andrew Tate's money. So, I mean, how you gonna make a comparison? And I don't compare things on money, but let's just stop that.
No, I get what you mean.
If the first time you've heard what you've heard from me and it sounds similar to Tate, it says a few things to me. It says you're probably quite young. It says you might have not had a father figure or the nuclear family, and it says that you probably don't consume too much, because if you did, you would realize everything I'm saying is nothing new. I am just regurgitating, yes, but these are traditional African values. These are Christian values. These are common, whatever you want to call it. That's all it is. It's nothing radical. Andrew Tate didn't create this. You know what I mean? Lots of people think like this. That's why he has so many people that agree with him. I've never consumed any of the content, but lots of people think like this. And my brethren said to me, look, but I never used to show my face. I don't know if you've ever seen for the last few years, because I was doing this drinks brand, what I wanted it to do, I wanted it to be about the drinks. I know, because if you make something about yourself, you have to be there to sell it, and you become a brand. And you drink Evian, you don't know who owns Evian, but you trust in the brand of Evian, you drink it.
That's true. I didn't think about that one.
So when people drink the ISlushYou, is they trust in the brand, and it has nothing to do with me. They just know that if I see that I can drink that, and that's more powerful than anything. You don't. So then I'll be walking past people drinking my drink, I'm like, they don't even know. It's the sweetest feeling, right? But it also proves that it's based upon. It's also proved that it's based upon the quality of the product. It's not based upon. It's not based upon anything else other than that.
Yeah. No, I get what you mean. So with the, I'm even.
Go on, sorry.
So in terms of being recruited on it.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
So my brethren got me. So he put me forward, but he said to me, "You need to show your face." And then, I'll be honest with you, I was not even nervous, but it was just. When I look my delivery then to how it's now, it's different. And
it was your first appearance, though, man.
Yeah, 100% first appearance. But I just know that when I did that was kind of, I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I knew I wanted to get. I thought I was gonna go into do ADing on set, that was my thing. I was gonna go into mute commercials and back into TV and doing that. I was never intended to be in front of the camera. A few people said to me, "Oh, you've got personality. You should think about doing some extra work and stuff like that." I was like, maybe, but I was just behind the scenes at that point. What I'm doing now is not what I intended to do. But it got an opportunity came, and they asked me to come back onto Pearl's show, and they asked me to come back and come back again. And then,
rightly so, by the way.
Yeah.
It's needed, man. It's needed. Nah, for real though, man. Serious.
But I'll be honest with you. The first few clips, I never knew what was gonna happen. I started getting backlash.
I can imagine.
I was like, what?
Yeah. But for me, it's just. But you're what you said before. You're speaking how a lot of men think as well. So when you brought up the Andrew Tate thing, I'm like, this isn't breaking news. This is stuff that man have been thinking. You know what I'm saying?
But we're not allowed to speak.
We're not exactly.
And we're not. And what happens with me shows you we're not allowed to speak. And I always show you the double standard, the misogyny against men. Women speak about misogyny, but they do misogyny against men every single day. Yeah. It's quite funny, really, because you can find countless examples of it. like, and they feel no way to come in and to use, like, sign language. RP, the Godfather is, he made he coined the term sign language, shame, insult, skill,
and
the
it
need
needs
to be right.
Yep.
And they lead with it. They lead with it in everything, in their interactions, even when they don't mean to. They lead with it. You know what I mean? And you have to point them out. So when you say you don't want to be a single father, sorry, you don't want to be a stepfather, they'll say, they'll say, a real man would step up. They'll say, you're insecure. They'll say all types of different things. When it's like, no, it's just a preference and standard. Why can't who grows up and says, if what man says a woman will be a stepmom? What? Imagine a man said that. They would say, what? It don't even make any sense.
Yeah. But we operate with logic though. Like I'm saying, we operate off of what's real versus they operate off what they feel more time. That's what I've clocked with a lot of the arguments.
I feel like, bro,
it's always, bro, I feel like.
Take a shot every time you hear, I feel like, bro, you're going to be lit.
Real talk.
Take a shot every time you hear, I feel like.
It's crazy. It's crazy, man. So when you're going on these platforms, and there was another episode that I watched, and you said something. I think it was like, you said something like, I don't appreciate you swearing. Do you remember that one?
I definitely remember that one.
I was confused because how you said, there was nothing wrong with what you said. How you said it, it's like there's no need to swear. You're just letting her know, like, boom. Yeah. So when that whole thing happened, and then you have other women in the room that are siding with her, what was your thought process?
It's like, so I meet you for the first time. I don't know you. You don't know me. We start having a conversation. Now, it's rude to swear in conversation anyway, but it's rude to swear with someone that you don't know. Yeah. And if you don't know that, okay, let me just make you aware. But if I make you aware, you then don't get to argue with me and because what they're showing is, first of all, is it's not about what you say. It's about how you say it.
Yeah.
So she tried to tone police me. Oh, you're speaking, you're doing this, you're doing that. I'm like, what did I do? I just said, please don't swear at me. Please don't swear at me. Don't swear at me. It's rude when because us as men, we know if I meet another man and I start swearing at him, I don't know how he's going to take that. But women aren't scared. They are not scared. Why would they be scared? She knows I can't do a goddamn thing. She knows I can't. Because if I did, what would that leave me? So this is why women, they do all of that stuff. And all I really have is my tone. All I really have is my voice. All I really have is my intelligence because I can't do anything. I can't do anything. And when these modern women, we call them modern women, they don't like to be checked for anything. They don't like to be checked for anything. And having having standards and decency now becomes a problem. It becomes a problem. And all I was showing is that please don't swear at me. Then she found a problem with it. How can you have a problem with it? But we live in a world where now it's women don't understand, and that's the misogyny. I'm just showing you. You think I could just come on a platform and swear at a girl? Do you know what they'll do to me?
Yeah.
Do you know? Hey, they will cook me. Then I'm in a room full of women, and what women do, they feel like the vaginas and their periods align them. Mm-hmm. They feel like that. So you have a room. You had that girl, she's the white girl, and she was gaslighting the scenario. Mm-hmm. I feel like you're being
I couldn't believe. I thought maybe I'm watching a different. Like, yeah. Am I seeing something like what's actually going on?
I was in it.
And I'm watching it, so I can only imagine what's going through your mind when it's happening to you in real time. I'm like, and I even had to rewind it for a second. I was like, no way, is this happening?
Yeah, no, well, it's
like Pearl. Obviously, get me. It seems like she's the only one that operates with common sense.
But that's like, if Pearl has to be there to be the voice of reason, you know what I mean? Because if not, these women just running wild.
Trust me.
Just running wild, bro. I'm telling you. Like, yeah, that show was... And you know what it is? But I'm cool with all them women. Do you know why? Not the one in the green. She left, boy.
That was the one that was next to you.
She kicked out. I didn't even realize she kicked out the show.
Yeah.
I've been cool with everyone. The only people I haven't been cool with her in the green and Evil Sade. Do you remember Evil Sade? I probably remember
the
one who talked about SA, the light skin girl.
Oh,
she's like, have you ever been SA pearly things?
Yes.
Go on, talk them, big man. Hey, Evil Sade. The only thing this is what I'm saying. The man them are down bad because the man them were like, but she's so bad. She's such a. I'm like, bro, what's wrong with you, man? I can't. This is why pretty women get away with stuff because she's so pretty, and I can say she's pretty. But when you move up, when you move like that to me, you're ugly. I can't see nothing else like. You know what I mean? Because
I get it.
she was just But to be honest, I would like to get her on my podcast. I would like to sit down with her, only because I was like, "What was you on, Evil Sade?" Like
that'd be a good one. No, that'd be a good one.
What was you on?
For real? No, definitely. Speaking on your podcast, bro. Talk to me about the Mandem's voice.
Yeah.
The name, how it came about.
Yeah.
Get me.
Yeah,
let's go, man.
Yeah, my name is Chyna. I'm the Mandem's voice, and we just shot the first episode ever.
Congratulations again, man.
Thank you, man.
Big ups, man.
Episode 1, What's Love Got to Do with It, is a Valentine's special edition, and it's out now. So make sure you go check that out.
Check it out, man. For real.
Yeah, like so. I said when I get to my first 1,000 subscribers, I'm gonna start my first podcast. And yeah, we got to 1,000 subscribers, and the next day I shot the podcast. Had some good guests, some people that have been on shows with before, some other people, and yeah, like the Mandem's voice is. Like I said, I didn't intend this. I just started speaking in a way that I've always spoken. So how I speak is how I've always spoken to my friends, how I spoken to, how I always spoke to my colleagues, how I spoke to women that are, you know what I mean? Like this is me. This has always been me. This is not me trying to put on an act. This is not me trying. This is not a secret a secret persona or anything. This is just me, right? And when you step on, but doing me, being me to a few people is different. Being me to the internet. You know what I mean? Because then the whole world kind of has interpretation. And I said before that when I stepped on Pearl's podcast, I didn't realize that some of the backlash I would get. And if I said to you it didn't affect me, I'll be lying, bro. Like, it didn't, because I started getting people that I'd worked with on, for example, like on the film sets, or people I'd done stuff with before that weren't getting the message, innit? Or girls. And then I was like, what? Hold on a second. This is not what I'm trying. This is not what I wanted. But then when I look back and I understand short form content and understand how people consume it, I understand that people, most of the time, they don't watch the full thing. And what I have to do is I have to articulate myself a bit better. When I say articulate myself a bit better, I just got to make sure that I get across all the points that I want. Even if someone cuts it up, as long as there's a long form content of it that explains what I'm doing. No, I'll say to someone, have you watched it? No. Or you comment on a clip. We can't have this discussion, right? Go and watch it and come back. Most of the time they do. And they're like, oh, you know what? Okay, cool. I kind of agree with you still. I didn't realize it, right? And then, but now it's like I'm a lot more, because it was new. I didn't understand what I was going to do. But now I understand the internet a little bit more, and I understand how people react to things a bit more. I don't care. I chop it up purposely now. Yeah. Trigger these baby mamas. I don't care. They stay mad.
Yeah.
They stay mad. But yeah, like I just like, so I want to create a safe space where men can come and speak. But I also want to create a space where women can come and listen to men speak, and they don't. They can come and tell their stories. Like, partly of doing this is I started off very harsh, and I'm still the same. But I know that partly of the way of, in order for me to get, because I don't know if you see my lives, I'm getting a lot of American women. A lot of women are coming on now, and they're getting better, and they're getting better, and they're telling us their stories. And at some point, the other day I had a woman that came on, and basically, she had 2 baby fathers. She gave away one of her children, and then she got back with her initial baby father, but her sister then adopted her kid, and basically, like, she had owned everything. She had told me everything. She said she should have closed her legs. She said she didn't follow.
Oh, so she took full accountability.
Bruv, the accountability on this one was
sick.
Because I did that, and then at the end of it, I'm like, well, if you've taken accountability, you know what? Okay, what do we do now? Now it's about healing. Now it's about moving forward, right? And now it's about guiding other women and saying, look, don't be like me, right?
Yeah.
Cool. I can work with you, yeah? But if you're gonna come with them, I had another woman that wanted to tell me, no, I left my guy, I chose to be a single mother. So I'm like, so you chose to place your child at every statistical disadvantage. No, I did. That's not accountability. See? Different energies, right? So we're gonna handle that differently. The idea is when the first time you hear some of the stuff that I might say, it might be, it's quite polarized, and I understand that. But end of the day, if you can take that on board, then we can start to move forward. And that's what the Mandem's voice is about. I want better results for men primarily, but better results for men equate to better results for women. And then when there's better results for men and women, better results for the family. better results for the family, better results for the local community, then in turn, better results for the society, for the world. I'm doing God's work.
Nah, that's amazing.
I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Like,
Bro,
it's quite simple.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it just involves like it's been done. We have 200,000 years of recorded human history, right? And that's got to this point. In the last 20 years, they're telling everyone we can be giraffes and zebras.
Yeah,
it's messing everything
yeah.
up. So I'm saying I know what I can follow. I can go on what has got us to this point, right?
Mm-hmm.
All these new age relationship situations, all these new things, they just confuse us. Yeah. So
Agreed.
I'm saying, you've tried this new thing that you guys are trying. It looks like it's not working. Maybe we should just take a step back and go through what got us through what got us through the worst times of humanity. Well, even through slavery and segregation, we was together.
Yeah.
No matter. Do you know what that means? Do you know what that means? It means that even through the worst times of history, you could still find the misses. You still had love. You still had joy. Like, do you know, you still had some type of love and joy. Now it's like you can do whatever you want, but no one ain't happy.
It's true. Do you think social media plays a part in that as well?
Yeah. Social media plays a part. This culture, like, and this is what I'm trying to say. If you speak about this, they all try to act like you're a dinosaur. Maybe I am. But
maybe I am too. I know maybe I am too, boy.
maybe I'm a dinosaur. Maybe I am. Because it's like when I was telling women about OnlyFans and that, people can't understand why we shouldn't date women that do OnlyFans. I was like, what?
But that's not breaking news though. Like,
but apparently it is.
Wild. I can't believe this.
Well, you say it's not great. Do you know why? Because too many men are simping and they're making allowances for things. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Like, I'm tired of these simps, man. Like, it gets to me. It really does. Because it ruins the work we're doing. It does. And then you have men in powers of position that simp too. I hate them. Worse. There's lots of podcasters that simp. I hate them. That's why they don't like me.
Yeah. Nah, I get it, man.
We can't stop it though. It's
nah,
cool.
100%, man, bro.
This is the problem. This is the thing, right? Up until now is it was like there was a stage in the UK music that was very clicky. It was like, I remember it was like, well, who was it? It was just always the same faces every time. It was like Krypton Conan, it was like Stormzy, it was like
Section Boys.
Yeah, it was like Chip. It was like, who else was there?
Trying to think.
I'm trying to remember. It was like, I'm trying to think. Giggs was there, but he don't count. He don't count. He's Godfather.
Would you say Nines was
No, because Nines is on his own thing.
I'm trying to think.
I'm trying to think. There's one more.
Sneak. What would you say?
Yeah. Definitely.
Well,
yeah. So let's say that it was just very there orientated.
Yeah.
It was very,
Timbo as well. I forgot about certain names like Timbo.
But it was just like, I'm just trying to talk about, you know, like when it was always every time, who else would be on the remix? It was like Mo Stat, you know, like, it was just always the same.
Yeah.
It's always the same.
Yeah,
it's always the same. Bro, it's like it's held in that little thing, right? Yeah. But then what happens is then you'll get man like Digger or something. Do you get me? Or one who be from West or something, like, no, we're about to break over the doors and we're gonna put ourselves through. Do you get me? Yeah. But it was very clicky for that moment, and no one couldn't really get in. And it's like it's always the same thing, right?
Yeah.
That's how the podcast world has been like. It's been very clicky. It's been very whatever. A few podcasts, few mainstream podcasts, whatever, and the same faces, right? Cool. But what happens is they might not want you to let you through, innit? So then what you have to do is you have to make your own thing. So every time when R.I.P. Kevin Samuels, the Godfather, when he passed away, these women danced on his grave. You saw how they're moving. I've never seen something so disgusting in my life. Someone's passed away and you guys are cracking joke, yeah? Because this is what they thought when he went away, that was it. But they didn't realize, yeah? Because it's like in Avengers Hydra. When you cut off when the snake more come out, yeah? That's what happened.
I like that analogy.
That's what happened. So they thought when they got rid of... I was never going to be on a podcast, ever. Yeah. I thought like this, I was never. But when you did that, what happened is it set loads of things into play, right? That are going to create people like The Vacuum. So people like Pearl and I are going to shoot up. She was doing it when Kevin Samuels was around. Yeah. It wasn't the same, right? Cool. So it creates a vacuum. It's like when they arrest a drug dealer in the area, you don't get rid of the problem. You just get rid of the... Yeah? Or when they take a dictator out or whatever, you don't get rid of the problem. What happens is actually fact now lots of people are going to scramble for power. Yeah? So in actual fact, you don't. You just create a vacuum and make another person come inside it, or multiple people come inside it now because they see the avenue. So I think it's amazing, and I like seeing more people getting in the space, because what's happening is you can't. Like these women be like, oh, not another Manuel podcast. Yes, another one. And there'll be another. We're gonna be DJ Khaled, another one. Nah, you ain't gonna, bro. They think we're not going nowhere. Yeah. We're not going nowhere because the conversation isn't going nowhere.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Nah, bro.
That's what you needed. Don't let them, when they see you, don't let them think that, because they were saying the same thing, but then I got my 1,000 subscribers now. I'm going to be a monetization.
By the way, congratulations on the 1,000 subscribers as well, man. That's a big accomplishment.
I love my bro.
That's sick, man. Get me, and it's only gonna get me.
Yeah, like I've done 250,000 views on my channel since just the end of September. You know, I'm almost on it's like you need 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours to start monetization. I'm almost there. Like I've already hit 1,000 subscribers. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, but you got this, man.
So,
you got this.
But I'm saying it's like, and then you start making money from YouTube. And I'm around enough people that make money from YouTube to be like, yo, you can make money from this. And they show you how you can make money from this. And ultimately, YouTube, the one thing I like about the YouTube community, and I saw it, I didn't know it, because remember, I'm getting my education from this, right? So when I'm on Pearl's show and I'm like, what, people are sending you money? What for? What for? Just sending it to you, just to support you. Yeah. I'm seeing 500. What? Man just sent 5 bills. What for? Mad. But people want to see you grow. People going to send money for your... YouTube community is different, right? Super chats and ads and all these different... So it's like, oh, wow, like I didn't know this. Yeah. Then you start understanding how it works. Then now, obviously, YouTube monetizing shorts. So someone like me who does good in shorts and short form content, that will be something good, right?
Very beneficial.
You know what I'm saying to you? So it starts being like, wow, okay, I can start to see how this thing can work now. You know what I mean?
It makes sense.
It just starts making sense. But when you look from it outside, it'll be like, what is this YouTube thing? And YouTube is about consistency. You have to be consistent. You cannot stop. The algorithm, that's how the algorithm works. And one thing I'll say about Pearl is, and shout out to Pearl, is because we have to give her flowers because she works so hard. Like, they can say, you know, people have a lot to say about Pearl, but she works so hard, and I haven't seen no one yet work as hard as her in this YouTube thing. And I'm around a lot of people that do in the YouTube, and I don't see no one that works as hard as her. And you cannot hate on someone that works so hard. What you can do is, well, you should take something from their, you know, from their work ethic. And Pearl's told me, like, yo, like, you know, just go hard. Like, edit, you know, you get me? Just go hard, go do this thing. And I could do a show with Pearl and my subscribers will jump up. And I will do a show with Pearl, but what's important is it's about doing this. Because it's not about just trying to use your aunties and, you know, you get me? Like, because it makes it very easy. But when you build something and you do something, then you build up to a moment where you can have someone like that and then be like, yo, let's talk about how the journey, you get me? You see what I'm saying to you? And that's kind of what I look at from Pearl and them lot. But yeah, no, I'll go back on Pearl's show and then obviously Auntie's show. But another thing for me is I have to think about my health. Now, arguing with women continuously week in, week out, it's not good for you. Trust me.
I don't know how Fresh and Fit do it. I don't know how.
I believe this is shit that killed Kevin Samuels. Like, it's not good for your health. Like, sometimes you come out of these battles with these women that want to battle you. It's not good. It's not good for you. So I also believe there's a little bit where I have to protect my energy. You know what I mean?
Man. No, bro, like, sense, man. I hear it, man.
Like, do you get me? There's a little bit where I have to just protect my energy a little bit, and you know, also focus on the types of shows that I want to create and curate the types of guests that I want to have on, so we can push the conversation in the way that I want to have it.
That makes sense.
Because when you go on another platforms, you don't control the narrative of conversation. You just respond. So when people say to me, "Oh, you go back and forth with girls," I'm like, "No, that's them. I'm just giving back the energy that they give to me."
Nah, it makes sense, man. It makes sense. And what advice would you give to someone that's about to get into this space? And that also wants to get into the business side of things as well. So with the creative side, the advice you give, but also on the business side with what you've done with ISlushYou.
I would say I would not go into podcasting unless you're ready for it.
Okay.
Like, if you really love your life, like, because you have to remember, depending on what your job you do, it can affect your job. So a lot of men, you don't want to be on a pub. You don't want to be going on podcast, and then you're getting called into HR on Monday by Karen. You get me? It's gonna be quite peak for you. Oh, so is this what you believe? Oh, single mothers, what? This time's catching us divorcee single. It's gonna be very peak for you. You don't have a scenario where you're looking for work, yeah? You're looking for jobs, and then you're on platforms going viral, telling you, oh, it's you. Oh, it's you. Oh, you the So I don't tell anyone to go on a podcast if you're not ready for backlash, because you can't expect people are going to be 100% with you. Yeah, you need to be strong-minded, strong-willed. Yeah,
definitely.
You need to be strong-willed. Yeah. So if you are, and you definitely got something to say, by all means, go out there and say something. But there's no point going on a platform, a major platform, or starting something and then not continuous it. Because why are you gonna? It's like opening Pandora's box. I've opened it now. Now it's about okay, we have to go all the way. There's no what do I have from holding back now? I've already hotted them up. There's 10 million views, bro. What are you gonna do after that? Like, that's it. After that, and that's on someone else's platform. That's someone else monetizing, benefiting off your whatever. Cool. That's cool because you're giving up. But that says to me that I need to do it. Because how am I getting all of these views and all these people and I'm not actually doing something? Because then that means you just came on a platform just to say something, and that potentially could affect you depending on what scenario you're going to. No, F that. I'm going to come into this space. I'm going to be me. I'm going to carve out my own stuff. I'm going to get my own podcast studio by the end of the year. So I'm saying, like, I bought cameras, I bought lighting, 4K. Like, I'm not someone that, like I said, I'm business minded. So once I see how the money is being made and what the tools, I will go and get the same tools and then continue with it. So that's kind of the thing. And put your money up. Put your money up. Like, people don't put their money up. That's the problem. Like, if you believe in your idea, put your money up. It's, you're not a boss unless you put your own money up. You're not. You're just an employee. You're just a manager. You know what I'm trying to say to you? So it's like, a lot of people want things to happen for them, but they don't put their money up. Like, this is what I'm trying to say to you. Podcasts are going to cost money. It's going to cost money, just like if you want to make music, it costs money, studio time, mixing the engineers, artwork. If you've got to give it to the digital service providers, I'm trying to say to you, if you're going to play a radio plugger, you're going to pay, a video plug. Like, when you do music at a proper scale, these are all the different components. But when you just say, I'm independent, you think I don't work like that, B. When you're signed to a deal, you have a whole team of people that work just to make this record blow for you. You know what I'm trying to say to you? When you come into podcasting, like, there's a whole set of things you need to do in order to make yourself successful. And if you don't, you're going to be one of the podcasts that just die out. You know what I mean? So that's kind of, whatever you do, just put your own money up and work at it. You cannot think it's going to work without putting your own money up. And if you believe in yourself, you get your money. Like, it's an investment. You have to short-term loss for long-term gain. Like, you might have to do some things now you don't want to do. You might have to do a job you don't want to do. You know what I mean? You might have to work with people you don't want to work with. You know what I mean? It is what it is. But you have to think about long-term what you want. And then when you get what you want, people are asking, bro, this is sick. And they won't even know what it took to get there. And like what you said, we live in a world where it's instant gratification, right? So even with me, it's like I can have the pressures of the world. I got a lot of stuff going on, but at the same time, I have to step out. I have to do all these things because by not doing them, it's more detrimental. By not pushing and not trying, trust me, you don't want to be a shoulda, woulda, coulda. I don't even know. I could have. Like, you don't want to do that. You just want to push. And whenever I speak to someone that's younger than me, I just say, just go. You don't have nothing. Like, try everything. Just try. Because at least you know it didn't work because, I tried it, right? But not trying is the worst thing. So put your own money up. Surround yourself with, if there's something you want to do and your friends or your network of people are not doing it, then surround yourself with the types of people that are. Like, go there. Like, it's not going to work if it's... And that's the truth of the matter. Like, we have friends for all different types of things. If your day one friends aren't the types of people that you need to do with the things, then go find where these people are. You can use those friends for other stuff, like, you know what I mean? Like, if you're just going out, just chilling, those are cool. But when you want to start creating and thinking about business ideas, you need to be around creative and business-minded people.
Definitely, 100%. Nah, that's lit, man. I appreciate it, man, for real. What's the best piece of advice someone's ever given you?
I'm trying to think, man.
So you've spoken on the advice you'd give. So what's the best piece of advice you've ever been given?
I've been given some good advice, man. I'm trying to think what's the best piece of advice. I'm gonna give you some advice that sticks out from my father that he gave me. He said to me, son, struggle brings character. And a man needs to go through struggle in order to become. You know what I mean? And if you never struggled, you can never see any progression. And I think there's something, yeah, and it's something just going on from what he said. There's something powerful that happens in struggle, man. I don't know, but you become something. You need to know what it feels like to have it all and lose it, and then get it back again, and maybe even lose it again, and then get it back from some different way. Because then you realize that whatever you have, it's not on you, it's in you. And it's something that men need to understand, particularly that it's not on you, it's in you, innit? And if it's not in you, then why is it not? We're not all the same, but in reality, it's struggle. And by really, really wanting something, or really not, the lack of having something can make you create something, make you become something that you never ever envisioned. And that's the beauty, because everything starts from thought, literally, and you just have to think about. And that's what struggle does. That's what not having money does. And having money's a tool. You should use your money to do things. Use your money to actually do things that can change your life or make you see something new. Money's a tool. If all we use money is to consume and buy stuff, it doesn't do what money's supposed to do. Use your money to do some stuff. Use your money to put yourself in a room with other people. That's what money's just a tool. And if we're not using it to try to push forward our dreams, then yeah, man, you're wasting.
I appreciate that, man. That one is, yeah, I like that one. Now we're heading into our quick hitter segments.
Let's go.
About to outro it. Get me.
Go on, let's go.
You're a former artist, so I have to ask this question. Your top 5 artists in terms of your favorites.
It's gonna be like US, isn't it? We're in the US or UK?
Completely up to you. Completely up to you how you want to do it, bro.
Cool. We'll
this is just your favorites. I'm not saying greatest of all time. I'm just saying your favorites.
Yeah, it's gonna be mostly US, man.
Okay.
But I'll probably I'll do US and then you know what? I'll do US and I'll do UK.
Okay. Yeah,
I'll do US.
That's cool. Yeah.
Because I
ahead.
Because I have to do the UK Mandem minute. So US 50, 50. 50 my guy, man.
Curtis Jackson. Okay.
50's my guy.
Yeah.
That's my guy. Everything about the business acumen, everything that he went through. I wouldn't be like, I wouldn't be like, I see. I see not similarity. I understand. I actually understand 50.
Yeah.
Whenever people I don't understand above, they just don't know 50. And I don't know him. And it's weird. And I'm not someone that I don't do the celebrity thing. I don't care about celebrities. But I respect and I can understand where I was in my life when that album dropped. Ooh. Do you get? You know what I'm saying? Get to Rich or Die Trying.
Yeah.
And then
oh my goodness.
What it did to the culture. You know what I'm trying to say to you. So 50's definitely up there.
He had one of the hottest runs.
It just for business, and then now what he's doing, it just he shows evolution. So when I talk about having other things,
very good point, by the way. Yeah.
He just shows that it's okay. You can have, and then people that think that. Talk to him about music. He's like, bro, what are you talking about music? I got other things going on. He had vitamin water. You know, there's bits where I see it.
I think he has a cognac as well.
Well,
he's doing a lot.
He's doing his thing. So I just say to myself, you could do multiple things, and you don't get held back by one thing because people think because that's what he was famous for. That's what came up. So 50, it's not in no particular order.
Yeah, that's calm, bro.
50, obviously, Biggie. Because at a stage in my life, that was, you know what I'm trying to say to you. So like Big L, the rapper. Okay, wait, because there's time. Who else do I like? But our Future, man, like, come on, man, that
Pluto,
like,
yeah.
Do you know? Because it has to be, because Future's like, he creates the soundtrack to it's like to the life.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
you
yeah.
get me? So it's like, yeah. And who else? Who else? Young Jeezy.
Ooh, Jeezy.
Yeah. And I don't know if that's saying
No,
how I was
that's-
living or my upbringing, but that was it. Like, yeah.
Jeezy's cold. No.
Yeah,
It surprised me, but I was like, wow, yeah, Jeezy, yeah.
Because I'm also
yeah.
trying to think about, you know, when you think about like what grew you up, or what did you listen to, what did you take in? Jeezy, UK, man, UK, all time favorite, Skibbity, RP Skibber, get me? Because that Skibber did a whole generation, whatever. Soul Solid Crew, iconic, obviously shaped UK.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Soul Solid Crew has to be,
can't argue with that.
has to be in there. Dizzy, because that's just like, you know, iconic. And Nines and Gigs.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's 5.
All 5 are solid. Ooh.
Yeah,
Man.
like there's, you know what it is? There's people. Yeah,
You're thinking about throwing in some honorable mentions, isn't it?
Let me throw some honorable mentions.
Yeah.
Let me throw some honorable mentions, because I'm trying to think about stuff that I took in. Young Spray.
Yeah, Young Spray, yeah. Shout out to Young Spray as well. He's doing this thing on the podcast thing.
Yeah,
as well.
bro, RTM podcast. That's what.
Yeah.
I need to sit down. I don't know if I'm ready for RTM. I'm always ready for RTM. Big up Spray. Whoever honorable mentions. I'm trying to think. Obviously Wiley. Like, I just think the whole page go, like, anyone that was kind of instrumental in creating things forward. That's why I tried to name some of those names there.
Yeah.
Because I
Makes
think
sense.
a lot of important things happened from those names. For me anyway, innit?
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? And I had to name Skibber because, like, yeah, it's like I remember when I moved from Northwest to the ends of people like Skibbity and Shabady and I was like, who? I was like, what's this? Like, what? I was like, what's this? It's just that thing where you don't know something and you're exposed to something new. And it's how some of the kids must be with drill and stuff, like, or how it was grind for the first time when you go somewhere and you hear something for the first time and you're like, what? And then all of a sudden, like, you spend your whole time immersing yourself in this thing to try to learn and trying to, you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I like that.
Yeah.
Top 5 creatives. Got to.
Dame Dash, number 1. Dame Dash.
Like that.
Dame Dash.
Okay.
Dame Dash, because you know what he did with Rockefeller.
Rockefeller, yep.
Ultimately, you know, Jay-Z came from him. Kanye West came from him. And Rihanna was an extension of that, and those are all 3 billionaires. So people like to speak about, Dame Dash, he fell off, he's this, he's that, but look at what he created. Look at all the people that he created underneath him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say to you? And for me, do you remember that famous Breakfast Club interview that he did when he's like, my son got cookies. When he's like, what if your son ain't strong enough as you? You care about yourself. I care about my last name. Like,
ooh, yeah.
I remember that. I was working those times. I used to do a completely job, but I remember that. And after that, that put the battery in my back. And I was like, no, I got to do something. I don't know what I got to do, but I got to do something. I remember I went to Africa, I went to Cameroon, and I was in the village, and I remember I was there with the chiefs and the elders, and I just said to myself, you know what? At that time, I think I was like 29 or something. I was like, you know what? When I come back, I want to do something different. I don't know what I want to do, but I want to create something different. I want to do something different. And it was just like, as soon as I come back, I had a different mindset, different whatever. I was like, I was house sharing with someone, and I was like, "Nah, I need to get out of here. I need to be around whatever." And like I was like, "I need to change my career."
Yeah.
All different types of things need to. The things that I was doing, I was like, "I need to stop doing these things that I'm doing." Like it was like a epiphany moment in it. Do you get me? So Dame Dash helped with that. Creatives. Who do I look at? Because I'm trying to think. Creatives.
So Dame Dash is one. You got 4 names.
Yeah, I got 4 names. I'm gonna give you a UK guy, Suavo.
Okay.
I like him because, and you know what it is? I like him because he reached out to me when he saw the podcast. And whenever Mandem reach out through their stuff and they doing bits, I appreciate it because I know a lot of man aren't and they hating. So I'm saying, so I looked at his stuff and I'm like, man, you need to dress me, man. I see what he does. I'm like, bro, well, I said, how big do I have to get before you can dress me? He's cracking up birds. He's like, don't worry, I got you. I'm like, I need to get to one of these. I won't let this guy dress me, man. But I like the fact he's a young black man and he's doing his creative stuff. I'm gonna give you another UK one. And I don't know him, I just seen what he's doing. Because I don't really look at, I don't follow no one. That's what I'm trying to say. I haven't followed no podcasters. I haven't followed no red. I've just got here, innit? And it's like, oh, now I'm learning as I'm here. But I like, is it Franklin Boateng, King of Trainers? Have you seen him? He does the King of Trainers thing. He's got...
Oh, that's him. Yeah,
definitely.
Franklin Boateng, yeah.
I don't know him. I don't know him personally, but you know one of those ones where you have mutual friends.
When you said King of Trainers, that's when it came. Okay, yeah.
But I see what he does, and I see, and man, how he with the Averix, and he brought back the Averix. For me, I need to go buy an Averix. I never had an Averix when I was younger. I never had. My mum, first of all, when am I gonna buy me no Averix? And second of all, like I at that point, I wasn't on yet. You know what I mean? And by the time I was on, it wasn't really that important to have. But then when they bring it back out now, it's kind of done that nostalgia thing when I was like, I couldn't have that when I was younger. So I actually want to kind of get it now. And I know he's been heavily involved with that. And I've seen some of the businesses that he's created and some of the things that he's been doing. So yeah, I want to shout out J2K because obviously Crep Protect and his transition from being an MC, being a rapper to like being a media mogul and doing other stuff. I want to just start throwing out some names now because I'm throwing out UK names. Sincere Lizzie. Sincere does the stuff with Fredo, but initially he was a rapper. There's like I've watched a lot of. I'm gonna do another one. I like. I'm just dropping names now. Yeah, I'm gonna just start dropping some names.
Go ahead,
just people in the UK that do things. TK SK from Finesse Forever. The label in South London. Their man got Russ. I've met them I met them before. I just like the fact they were young brothers and they worked their way in to getting platinum, you know what I mean, platinum sales and to be I watched they had the belief and they worked for their artists, man. Do you get me on that? And I've seen that. And I think not a lot of people get privy to seeing some of the behind the scenes, some of these people. So that's all I want to shout out them names. Who else? Who else is creatively doing stuff that I think that I like? What's that? To be honest, I just want to give a shout out to everyone in the podcast space. Everyone that's putting out content.
Yeah.
All the podcasters, all the channels, people started out, the people that established already. I think it's important because we're all getting media skills by doing this stuff. We're all learning a lot. And ultimately, a lot of these skills can be transferred and used in different parts of the world. You get your podcast popping, you can go wherever you want to film it. You're not... And that's the beautiful thing about podcasting. Pearl should be an example of that. Pearl's not from here.
That's true.
She's from America and she's got this scenario where her podcast is doing so well.
Smashing it, man.
Yeah, she can be anywhere in the world and effectively do this, right? That's the blueprint for me. That's something that I would like to do, like freedom, because then I know, especially now getting more attention in America, it would be nice about that. You know what? If I could just go over and, because Americans seem to get me, like they really seem to get me.
Yeah.
Even the women that be arguing, but they seem to still want to interact with you. You know what I mean? So I think, it's beautiful. That's the unknown thing, man. You never know where this can take you.
Nah, definitely, man. 100%. That leads me to our next question. Who would you like to see on the Tech Town podcast?
You need to get Cheryl and them girls on here.
Oh,
Range Rover Mama.
they do the sisterhood podcast.
Sisterhood. You need to get them on there.
Oh,
You need to get them on there.
I may even need your assistance with that one still.
You need to get, shout out to Sisterhood
Yeah,
podcast.
yeah,
Shout out
yeah.
to Sherilyn. Shout out to Lydia. And shout out to Zoe. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Range Rover, the Insulate Britain thing. Yeah.
Range Rover Mama.
Yeah. I was just trying to remember because when you said Range Rover, it all clicks. Yeah.
We have an episode dropping. I made her cry. I know. I did. Yeah, I made Range Rover Mum cry. I hope she puts it in. I'm not gonna tell you why I made her cry.
I was literally just about to ask, but that's
it's not that deep, but apparently it was.
Okay,
I made her cry,
interesting. All right, cool. That'll be a good one, man.
I made her cry, and I was like, "Don't delete that." I said because I think she's gonna keep it in.
Yeah.
Because I was like, if that was on my channel, I'm definitely cutting her out. I'm keeping it in. I'm gonna super zoom in when you're crying. It's gonna be like. She's good. That I think you should sit down with. They shoot here as well. Some people at DMD.
Oh yeah,
them and there.
Yeah.
Where's and them and there smokes. You know what I mean? Shout
As I said, I may need your assistance to get some of these.
Yeah,
guys,
no,
man.
but I just mean it's just
these would be good ones.
Like,
though.
you get a lot of people. Miriam, she shoots here. Yeah, and she, like I'm giving you the people that shoot here. Makes it easy because then it's like.
And they're familiar with the setup as well.
Yeah, and I know actually. Cheryl and them they tend to shoot on Sundays as well.
Is it?
Yeah. So
okay.
Yeah. So it's just one of those things. It's just like, I've been on their platforms and I enjoyed being on their platforms. Oh yeah. What's the name podcast? Shah and Virgo Shah and Chyna as well, and they shoot here.
Yeah.
And I go on their podcast. But you want to get them girls on.
That'd be a good one.
Because they always we go back and forth for them girls.
That'd be a good one. You've done what two? I think two of them.
I've done 3 with them, but
okay,
two
I haven't seen the third one.
No, they haven't dropped the third one out.
Okay.
But two have come out, and then I'm gonna get them back on my podcast, and I want to do a co-host show with them on my podcast.
That'd be dope, man.
Just get them on both sides of me, and then bring a few people in, and then we try and make.
That would be lit. That would be lit.
But that's the beautiful thing of the podcast thing. It's like. I look forward to you getting your first 1,000 subscribers. Like first 100, you know what I mean? And it's just like, but just put out content because you want to.
Definitely.
Put out content because you want to help. Put out content because you have an opinion, you have a standpoint, you have a viewpoint, and that's the most important thing. So yeah, man, your voice is needed in the space, man. Because you never know who's gonna come and bring something new.
Real talk.
And when the girls start saying, "Not another podcast," yes, another one.
Where can people find you at, man? Plug your socials, please.
So guys, make sure you follow me. My name is Chyna on Instagram, TikTok. My name is Chyna. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. My name is Chyna. That's the Mandem's voice. Subscribe episode 1. What's Love Got to Do? It's out now. Make sure you put notification bells on as well, so you ring that bell so you know when I upload my content. Make sure you follow ISlushYou and you check out all the shops that we stock. Summer's coming, and yeah, man. Like I just wanted to shout you out, bro, for having me on the podcast. Like I like the fact that people are really putting themselves forward, and I like the fact that I wanna show love to people beforehand, because I think we live in a world where everybody cares about numbers and always cares. And you're gonna find it when it comes to getting guests. It's like some people want to move Hollywood. It is what it is. And sometimes I can say sometimes you haven't done the work yet. So ultimately as well,
definitely.
There's also that bit where you have to kind of do the work first for it to be an equal exchange.
Yeah.
Some people believe like that, but other people might have foresight. So if you meet someone that hasn't really got foresight, don't take it personal. Just go back and do work, and then soon they'll be asking you to be on. Oh, can I get on your podcast? Innit?
That makes sense.
So yeah, man.
And that's the mindset that I have. I go in with the mindset of like there are going to be people that will move Hollywood, but I look at it on my end. I haven't earned it yet.
Yeah,
do you get it? I'm not there yet. But if someone wants to come on and be like, bro, like obviously I see you doing something. I'd love to jump on. Amazing, man. And bro, I appreciate it every time, man. Thank you so much for coming on. Chyna, broski. That's episode 3 in the books.
Episode 3 done, you know.
The Tech Time podcast. I'm the host. Get me. Tech Time himself. He is me and I am him. Make sure you follow on all platforms, subscribe, everything. Let's go. Let's get it, man.
Yeah.
and we out.